calling code was SAI, which is Social, Artistic, and Investigative. I thought this code fit me very well because all of those aspects apply to my personality, um, and that also applied to the jobs um, that I would really like, and those applied because they all provide direct services to people in need, and providing those types of services are something that I really enjoy. So I thought that the code matched me very well.
We came to the conclusion that we have the I, that investigate scientific problem solvers, in common. We're a little confused what that meant, but eventually when you read the typical college majors, it just says anthropology, astronomy, there is economics, and it kind of fits in with some of the things that we're looking into, or things that the people that we interviewed have, and so that's the reason why we also chose those people, because we have a little interest, or maybe a big interest for some of us, in those majors. I want to give back while searching for happiness.
I want to have enough money to provide for my family and give back to my family.
I want to help other people and also help support my family also.
I want a job that is fulfilling.
I'm looking for a very heartwarming job.
I want a job that's very rewarding personally, and I want to be able to help the community.
Our interviewee was Celia Garcia, and she has a sociology major, but she's actually a teacher for K through 8. One big thing was, so her major and her job doesn't necessarily fit up. Like, usually teachers go into liberal arts majors, and basically the story behind that, she says, is that when you realize that your school, or the school you graduate with and the major you get, you come out with, and you realize it's not really where your heart's set at, like, whatever you want to do, just do it anyway.
So basically she was saying, like, talk to people, get to know people, because you just never know who that person might be in like 5 or 6 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Hard-hitting news with Celia Garcia.
Okay.
So as we interviewed our interviewee, and we can read here in her email, her name is Maria Magaña. I realized that she said she was a sociology major and she graduated from Berkeley, and now she's in optometry school, and so.
Yeah, what's really interesting about Maria is that she was a sociology major. Most people think that if you're going to go into like a health, that you'd have to major in something such as, I don't know, like integrative biology or MCV, something of that sort. But she's a really good example that you can major in basically anything you want, and you can still go through your intended career path.
She also explains how her father was her parents were a little concerned of like what she was doing, and I feel like we can also identify, I don't know, like I personally identify, I can see how she felt, because in her email, though it's just an email, like we could, I don't know, it's like she was speaking through the email, like you can actually hear her, and I understand like how it is when your parents are like asking you like, what are you going to do, what are you going to do with your life, and that's what and maybe that's the reason why she ended up doing sociology stuff. Another thing, just like doing this email interview also made us like analyze it, and they gave us time to reflect on the things she said, and she also gave us like tips on the resources, how we should take advantage of the SLC and do internships while we're here and not wait until we're graduated and expect to have a good job without doing any like hands-on activity.
So our interviewee was Jose Bondag, and like we didn't know what to expect because his major was political science, and
his current job is as a newspaper editor. So we were really surprised at the difference between major and career. He pretty much laid it out for us and told us like the correlation between your major and your career it's not always gonna match. So he was really helpful in that sense, and he also gave us some great advice that he got from his own experiences here in college, and they were pretty much just to follow our dreams and not let anyone discourage us from them.
so like public health fits me in the sense that it's like, since it's science driven and it's very kind of involved into like hospitals, I feel like I've been always around hospitals and always like how they relate to people, and I think there's a lot of personal growth that can happen there by taking the courses that would prepare you there, and I think that's something where would help me discover like really where do I want to commit all my time. Do I really want to be socially interactive with individuals, and like career counseling, like my Holland Code discussed, or should I get more into like the medical field? And I think public health is a good bridge between the two to help me discover that passion.
So if you're thinking of public health, you would want to go and talk to the advisors in the public health school, or possibly just apply to the public health school if you're so sure about doing this.
You could also go online go online and look up the public health, the School of Public Health, and you can look at their webpage and just browse through and see if you're interested in any of their curriculum and classes. You can also apply to internships there. So for that, you would need to go on their website, which you could Google public health major UC Berkeley,
And then it would pop up.
and then it'll pop up.
And so everything's like at your hands. And if you really want to do public health like how we do, then you just have to go online. And I think everything pretty much is online.
Yeah.
Just go on the Berkeley website and just search public health, and a lot of things will come up. And if you like the whole in-person contact or just talking to someone, you can also talk to their advisors or contact them.
Yeah, and you can also talk to other fellow IAPs who are already in the public health majors, and you can talk to them on the classes or whatever you're interested about within public health.
Okay, so basically, so first of all, my parents don't really know a lot about the college system. They don't really they understand, but they haven't really been through the whole process, so they don't really fully understand everything. So when I told them I'm thinking about public health, first they asked me what is public health, blah blah blah. They wanted to get intact with the major, and when I told them it doesn't have anything to do with me being a surgeon, they're like, I don't like it. So honestly, I think my parents are more concerned about me leaving college and actually making money, because I know my duty and I have to give back, but at the same time, I want to do what makes me happy. So it's a bittersweet moment because my parents don't really they want me to be a surgeon ultimately. So
my situation's a little bit different. My parents are really supportive of pretty much whatever I choose. They're happy that I'm doing something related to the medical field, so they're really happy about that, and they're just very supportive of it.
So one thing I learned about myself through this project was that what you major in is not literally what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And I kind of knew that, but I feel like hearing this from a person that's actually been through it, I feel like I can actually believe them, and it's more credible.
So that's kind of like mine. So talking to Celia, it really makes sense. What she was saying, you need to network in your major. Don't stress out so much about your major, because it's not the end of the world if your major doesn't necessarily fit your job. And I learned that Malia is really goofy. Just wanted to say that.
I learned that I want to look for a career that really focuses on that has a very social aspect to it, because I know that I definitely don't want to have a job where I'm just stuck in an office working 9 to 5.
One thing I learned, it was kind of I already knew, but it was reassurance about major. It doesn't really matter what your major is. But another thing I learned, I guess, is that I learned how to email, what kind of format you're supposed to use, the voice you're supposed to use when talking to somebody, talking to your interview.
One thing I learned about myself is that perhaps I'm a lot more social than I thought I previously was. I learned that I can get along with people well. I like to have a good time, and I think this is going to translate well into me discovering the career that I want to do.
That's
One thing that I learned about myself or not about myself, but for myself, is that I need to take time to really discover and to look into other things, because you never really know what is going to fit you until you find it. So that's what I learned, and that I really don't need to put too much stress on the major, that everything will work out in the end as long as you work hard. And I learned that these people are really great people.
Aww.
I don't know. You start crying. Okay, I'm gonna start crying.
That's it. So,
We're
thank
done.
you.